A cloud of suspicion surrounds the deaths of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, whose bodies were found in their Santa Fe home. No one had seen the couple for days, and authorities say they had been dead for some time.
Gene Hackman's final phone call exposed a chilling truth that no one saw coming. The Hollywood legend, known for his powerful performances, was found lifeless alongside his wife, Betsy Arakawa, in their own home. What was hidden inside their New Mexico mansion that left investigators confused? Tune in, because the truth behind Hackman's last words are the confirmation that this was no accident. The house that left investigators speechless. It was a regular maintenance visit on a chilly February morning when two workers arrived at the couple's home. What they expected to be a routine job turned into something straight out of a crime thriller. The front door was unlocked, the air inside eerily silent. It didn't take long before they stumbled upon a scene that would haunt them forever. Hackman, at 95, was found near the back of the house, a cane and sunglasses resting nearby, as if he had simply stopped moving in an instant. His wife, decades younger at 65, was in the bathroom, slumped near the counter with pills scattered around her. A prescription bottle uncapped as if someone had been in a rush. The scene screamed distress, but from what or who? Before we go any further, one thing is certain. What happened inside that house was far more chilling than anyone expected, and this final phone call won't be the only thing that will shock you. Then came the details that turned this into something far more sinister. A space heater had been knocked over nearby. Some suspected carbon monoxide poisoning at first, a common silent cause of passing, but the gas lines were in perfect shape. The air inside tested clean. That theory was dead in the water. Yet what investigators found next only deepened the question. Both bodies showed signs of dehydration, suggesting they had been there for days before being found. If that wasn't eerie enough, their three pets painted an even grimmer picture. Two of them were seen wandering outside, confused and hungry. The third, a dog, didn't make it. It was found inside a crate, lifeless. Had they been gone longer than anyone realized? And if so, what happened to them? The scene wasn't just tragic, it was chaotic. Medications tossed carelessly, an open door that hinted at an interrupted moment, and a pet left behind with no explanation. Something about it all felt wrong. Who or what had been inside that house in their final moments? The official reports suggested no forced entry, but that didn't mean there wasn't something lurking beneath the surface. People close to Hackman found it odd. He had always been private, but he wasn't careless. If something was off in his home, he would have noticed. So why did his final hours seem so completely out of character? It wasn't long before theories started circulating. The simplest explanation was natural causes. Hackman was 95 after all. But that still didn't explain Betsy. 65 is still young enough to fight back against time. What were the odds that both of them would suddenly fall lifeless at the same time? And in such a bizarre way. Some pointed at the scattered medication, maybe an overdose, maybe an act of desperation. Was one of them sick, trying to escape pain, and the other simply followed? Or did something more insidious creep into their lives? And then there was the space heater. If it had been knocked over, was there a struggle? Did something cause a sudden fall, an accident that spiraled into something worse? Investigators initially entertained the idea of a toxic gas leak. Carbon monoxide poisoning can be almost impossible to detect in time, and its victims never see it coming. But that theory was scrapped when all tests came back negative. The air was fine, but the bodies weren't, and still, no clear answer had emerged. Then came whispers of something darker. Hackman had always been a reserved man, someone who lived his later years far from the spotlight. But had he been hiding something? Some theorized that the Hollywood veteran had been keeping something hidden so heavy that it followed him to his final moments. Could someone have wanted him silenced? Or was it something even more tragic? Had he been carrying a burden so deep that even his closest friends never knew? But just when it seemed like things couldn't get any stranger, more questions appeared, making everything even harder to understand. A legend's final moments still don't add up. There was also the timing. If the bodies had been there for days, why had no one noticed sooner? Why hadn't anyone checked in earlier? The couple wasn't known for constant socializing, But even private people have routines. People call, people visit. Something about the delay didn't sit right. And if it was truly a simple case of natural causes, why was every new piece of evidence only raising more questions? Hackman's career had made him a legend, but his final chapter was now overshadowed by uncertainty. Investigators continued to dig through every detail, but the more they uncovered, the more things stopped making sense. The lack of forced entry suggested no break-in. The scattered medication hinted at panic or confusion. The unlocked door hinted at either carelessness or an intruder who never needed to force their way in. And what about the pets? A dog locked away, 2 others left outside. It was as if someone had left in a hurry, without a plan, without care, without time. Some claim the truth would come out soon, but time was working against them. The longer a case sits, the harder it is to piece together. The official cause of death was pending, but theories had already taken on a life of their own. What if the couple had been targeted? What if they had been waiting for something, someone, and it had gone terribly wrong? Or worse, what if they had been forced into silence, their final moments stolen away before they could even understand what was happening? The whole thing just doesn't sit right, does it? A quiet house, 2 lifeless bodies, and a handful of strange objects that raise more questions than answers. A monthly planner and 2 green cell phones. Why those? Who were they calling, and what were they planning? It almost feels like they were keeping track of something bigger than just doctor's appointments or grocery lists. And let's not forget, when a person lives a life as big as Gene Hackman's, their death should make sense, right? But this one doesn't. The world knew Gene Hackman as a Hollywood legend, a man who spent decades shaping the silver screen with talent few could match. But to his family, he was so much more. A father, a grandfather, a steady presence in their lives. His death wasn't just another celebrity headline. It was a wound that cut deep, especially for those who had seen him just days before. Still active, still strong. The shock wasn't just in losing him, it was in how it happened. And the tributes poured in, as they always do. Big names like Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman spoke of his warmth, his generosity, his endless dedication to his craft. But underneath those glowing words, something felt off. As the images flooded social media, as old clips resurfaced, as the industry mourned, one question kept nagging at those paying attention. How does a man like this just vanish so suddenly without warning? And then there was Betsy. 65 years old, still full of life, still with plans of her own. She wasn't some frail figure who was slowly fading away. She had a presence, a voice, a reason to keep going. But somehow she was found alongside him, in a house filled with small but eerie details. A toppled heater, scattered pills, an unsettling stillness that didn't match the people they were. And her daughter's words only added to the confusion. Carbon monoxide poisoning, a silent substance, an invisible threat? It sounded plausible, sure, but was it the whole story? Maybe, maybe not. For a death to make sense, the pieces have to fit, and here they don't. If it was just age, why was Betsy gone too? If it was some tragic accident, why does it feel like something's missing? The lack of struggle, the quiet way it all unfolded, it almost feels intentional. But by whom? By them? By someone else? The absence of external injuries or clear signs of foul play makes it all the more unsettling. Because when something doesn't leave a mark, that doesn't mean it wasn't there. And that planner. The more people tried to explain it, the more it felt like something important was missing, as if the truth was right there but still out of reach. The clues that point to something far worse. It keeps coming back to that, doesn't it? The ordinary little book that somehow seems like the biggest clue in the whole mess. Was it just their way of staying organized? Or was it something more? A list of names? A schedule of confidential meetings? Something only they knew. And those cell phones? Why 2? And why green? In a world where every object tells a story, these seem like the ones that won't talk. Or maybe someone doesn't want them to. And the theories? Oh, they're endless. Was it really just an accident? Did Betsy take something she shouldn't have? Did Did one find the other in distress and act out of panic? Or was there something darker lurking in that quiet house? The pills near the open bottle, they scream overdose, but in what context? A tragic mistake, a desperate escape, or a setup, a neatly staged scene meant to be seen a certain way? And if not that, then what? Something is very, very wrong with this case, and it's not just a tragic accident or an open and shut story. Two people found in different parts of the house, no signs of forced entry, and yet somehow they are both dead. That alone should make anyone stop and think. A pact? A slow, deliberate decline? Maybe something or someone else was involved. Every piece of evidence seems to lead to more questions instead of answers. And if you think this is a simple case, think again. Let's start with what's in plain sight. No struggle, no forced entry, no clear cause of death at first glance. But wait, look closer. The bodies tell a different story. The way they were found, separated in different rooms, suggests something far more complex than a single event that took them both at the same time. One near the entrance, the other in a bathroom. This isn't how you expect to find people who passed at the same moment. And then there's the pet, a dead animal locked in a crate, left to wither away. That alone throws the idea of a quick, planned decision out their window. If this was an agreement, wouldn't they have made sure their pet didn't suffer? Let's not forget the open front door, another piece that doesn't fit neatly into a pact theory. If the door was open, someone either entered or left. Was it one of them? Unlikely. Did someone else step into their home? A visitor they trusted? Maybe even someone who never left? That unsettling possibility lingers in the background, waiting for more evidence to either confirm or dismiss it. And then there's the digital trail. A planner, cell phones, records. These could be the keys to everything. If they were in contact with someone, if they had any kind of appointment or last-minute communication, those details might shine a harsh light on what really happened. The gas company says there's no carbon monoxide poisoning, but that was the first idea investigators had. Why? Because something about this death wasn't normal from the start. And now, with toxicology reports pending, the real test begins. Was there something in their system? A slow-acting poison? A fatal interaction between medication and an undetected illness? Or maybe something else, something even more chilling, that left no obvious trace but did its work over time? Until those results come back, there's no way to rule anything out. But one thing is clear. This wasn't a peaceful, planned decision carried out with careful intent. Something happened, and that something doesn't add up. Look at the crime scene. A tipped-over space heater, scattered pills, digital records that don't quite tell a full story yet. It all feels strangely staged, as if someone wanted it to look like an accident or a simple case of two people choosing their fate. But that's not how this works, and authorities know it. That's why they're sifting through every detail, piecing together the timeline, searching for anything that might reveal a crack in the story. And let's not forget that cell phones and planner. People don't just vanish from life without a trace, not in this age. If they were talking to someone, if they had plans, those digital breadcrumbs could be the key to everything. Was Gene Hackman's final phone call just a tragic goodbye? Or did it reveal something far more disturbing about his fate? Tell us what you think and remember to like and subscribe for more.